Did you know that 53% of mobile users will abandon a website if it takes more than 3 seconds to load? And 61% of them would never return to a slow website? If your site isn't optimized for speed, you're losing customers before they even see your product or services. You might have amazing content, but if your website is slow, it could be costing you. In the following minutes, I'm diving deep into the brutal truth about your website's technical SEO. I'll show you how to fix these issues so you can boost your traffic and increase your conversions. You'll discover the critical aspects of technical SEO that every small entrepreneur needs to focus on to boost their organic traffic. Coming up, you'll learn how to evaluate your website structure and speed. I show you the tools and techniques to identify what's slowing you down and how to fix it, how to check your sitemap and resolve indexing errors, get the lowdown on what these files mean for SEO and how to ensure your site is properly indexed by Google, how to assess canonicals, redirects, and 404 errors. Master these fundamental elements to avoid penalties and improve your site's crawlability. What is technical SEO? It refers to site configurations that impact how and how fast your users access your website, and how search engines access, index, and rank your pages. In a few words, technical SEO is directly responsible for finding your site. If you make life easier for search engines, they will return you the favor. That's for sure. It is often related to technical configurations such as pages, HTTP status, robot stacks, broken links, canonicals, and XML sitemaps. Why does your site need a technical SEO audit? Before diving into the specifics of site structure, speed, and canonical text, let's start by discussing why a technical SEO audit is crucial for your website's success. A technical SEO audit helps you uncover hidden issues that could be undermining your site performance, even if you're producing the best content out there. These are the technical details that often get overlooked, but can make a huge difference in how your site ranks in search engines. Let me tell you about a client who came to me frustrated with their stagnant traffic. They were active in a B2B finance niche and producing great content, but they weren't seeing the results they expected. After conducting a full technical SEO audit, I found several critical issues with their custom made website speed mobile optimization. Once these issues were addressed, their organic traffic jumped by 32.76 in just 3 months. This just goes to show how much impact a technical SEO audit can have. Site structure and speed. Let's start with the basics. Site structure and speed. A well-structured website makes it easier for both users and search engines to discover and navigate. If your site is organized, users can find what they need, and Google can crawl it more efficiently. A poor structure can hurt your rankings. Consider having a flat structure. Pages should be accessible with less than 4 clicks from the home page. Use content siloing with a clear hierarchy. Homepage, category page, subcategory page, and product page. URLs should be simple and short. They should describe the page's content using relevant words in the language of the content. Avoid using numbers or special characters in URLs. Also, avoid having multiple URLs featuring identical or similar content. Each page should be assigned a unique URL using a logical hierarchy structure. Next, let's speak about site speed. Slow websites are a huge turnoff. Studies show that slow load times lead to higher bounce rates and abandoned visits. Use tools like GTmetrix, Pingdom, and Page Speed Insights to audit your site and page loading speed. So, what can you do to speed up your site? Here are some practical tips. First, optimize your image sizes. Large images can slow down your site, so make sure they are compressed without losing quality. And activate lazy loading, so images load only when they are needed. There is a plethora of options to do this. tinypng.com or Imagify plugin for WordPress are some good alternatives. Second, reduce JavaScript and CSS bloat. Too much JavaScript can make your site sluggish. Remove unused and render blocking CSS and JavaScript. Compress and minimize. Lastly, use content delivery networks or CDNs to minimize server response times, especially for users in different locations. I've seen firsthand how improving site speed can lead to better organic traffic. Like in the case of an e-commerce client selling lamps and lighting devices, when after taking corrective actions to improve the page load times, the number of transactions increased by 71.6%. Crawling and indexing issues, sitemap and robot text. Crawling and indexing are critical aspects of technical SEO. If search engines are not able to crawl and index your site, it just doesn't exist from their perspective. So, how do you ensure everything is in order? Start by checking for indexing error using Google Search Console. It's a free tool that tells you if there are any issues with your sitemap or robot text file. And you can also use the SEO Audit feature of Ahrefs or SEMrush to discover these problems. Index bloating is a very frequent technical issue that many sites face. It refers to the fact that search engines crawl and index unnecessary pages that have no real value for the user. Such pages bloat the index and waste the crawl budget uselessly. Examples of pages that don't need to be indexed are 18 pages. Tags. For instance, in WordPress, tags generate duplicate pages by default, not taken care of. HTTP pages, e-commerce empty pages, e-commerce empty category pages, and pages with AMP and non-AMP among others. Next, let's talk about your sitemap and robot text files. These two are foundational for SEO. Your sitemap is like a map that lists all the indexable pages on your site and helps search engines find them. Also, don't forget about missing sitemaps. If you don't have one or if it's incomplete, search engines might have trouble crawling all your pages. Make sure your sitemap is always complete and up to date and submit it to Google Search Console. The robot text file tells search engines what to index and what to ignore. Without them, Google might miss some of your best pages. You'd be surprised how many sites block important content from search engines just because of a small mistake in their robot text file, like disallow all bots. Canonical tags, meta robots tags, redirect, and 404 errors. Now, let's talk about canonical tags, meta robots tags, redirect, and errors. These are some of the most overlooked aspects of technical SEO, but they are essential. First, let's discuss canonical tags. These tags are used to prevent duplicate content issues. They indicate the master version of a page that search engines should index. If you have two pages with similar content, the canonical tag tells Google which one should be indexed. Without them, you risk hurting your rankings. Here is the code that should be added to the secondary pages. Remember, you should use absolute URLs instead of relative paths. A couple of years ago, I had a content creation agency client who needed help because its site was heavily affected by a Google algorithm update. The technical audit showed that each page of the site had multiple duplicates. They had migrated their website from Squarespace to WordPress and ignored that WordPress creates separate pages for tags and categories that are indexable by default. This and missing canonical tags led to multiple duplicate pages being indexed. Obviously, this was the root cause of the penalty. Next, there is the meta robots tag. This tag helps you control where the search engines should index a page. If you don't want a page to appear in search results, use this tag to block it. For example, you have the options to use meta robots directive to prevent bots from crawling seen or duplicate pages or test pages. 301 redirect and 404 errors. 301 redirect and 404 errors are equally important. Broken links or improper redirects can stop Google from crawling your site properly. The server returns a 301 response code when a requested URL has been permanently moved to another location. To avoid losing rankings for your pages, using a 301 redirect is a must. Usually, you need to do the redirect via your website htaccess file. If you are on WordPress, there are multiple plugins to help you execute it. Redirection is one of them. You should use a 301 redirect if the link, page, or subfolder has changed, if you migrate the site to a new domain, or if you are switching from www to non-www and so forth. The 404 page not found code is probably the most common and among the most frustrating status codes users encounter, and it impacts the user experience. You need to fix any 404 errors, page not found, and ensure your redirects are set up correctly to avoid redirect loops, redirect chains, and ultimately harming your rankings. Set up a custom 404 page. Crawl your website with a tool like Ahrefs to identify the 404 errors quickly. User experience and core web vitals. Let's talk about the connection between user experience and SEO. Google's core web vitals impact rankings, and a good UX is essential for keeping visitors on your site. Core web vitals measure how users experience your site in terms of load speed, interactivity, and visual stability. You can use Google Search Console or PageSpeed Insights to assess your core web vitals. It gives you an overview of your site score for metrics like largest contentful paint, LCP, first input delay, FID, and cumulative layout shift, CLS. If those scores are low, it means your site needs improvements. Improving UX is simple. Make sure your site is mobile friendly, easy to navigate, and visually appealing. A clean, well-organized design can make a huge difference in keeping visitors engaged. Structured data and schema markup. Finally, let's talk about structured data and schema markup. Structured data helps search engines understand the content on your site, which can lead to better visibility in search results like search snippets. A prevalent example of this is recipes. With the help of structured data, the user can instantly identify information such as the ingredients, cooking times, or nutritional value. To implement structured data, you'll need to add the right schema markups to key pages on your site. This tells search engines exactly what your page is about, whether it's a product, organization, person, article, or event, for example. And don't forget to test and validate your structured data. Use Google's Structured Data Markup Helper to ensure you generate the correct structured data code. And test it using Google's Rich Results Test. Mobile SEO has a massive impact on rankings because nowadays the vast majority of traffic comes from mobile. Thus, you have to make your site easily accessible and user-friendly on mobile devices. Not to mention Google's mobile's first indexing launched back in 2018. To check if your web pages are optimized for mobile, verify how quickly your mobile page loads, if your pages have a responsive design or intrusive pop-ups. Here are a couple more recommendations. First, choose the right hosting provider. Your hosting can impact both site speed and security. Second, make sure your site is secure by using security protocols like SSL and HTTPS. Google considers site security as a ranking factor, and it also builds trust with your visitors. Now that you've got a handle on the technical SEO issues that could be holding back your website, it's time to dive deeper into how content plays a huge role in your site's success. In the next video, I'll show you how to perform an SEO content audit to make sure your content aligns perfectly with your technical SEO. Click here to watch that next step and learn how to optimize your content to match the improvements you've just made. Don't leave your SEO potential on the table. Your business success depends on it.